Part 371. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3701. This wave of suppression has no effect. Instead, he was so angry that his chest exploded. I'm so upset. He. I think, according to Fang Fan's achievements, it's not justified to add a little contribution. Should directly double the contribution points on the original basis, it should be 10 times. That's how, to praise such a feat. If your neutral camp and the light camp don't want to contribute this contribution point, my Dark Temple will pay for it. Ha 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 ha. Little friend Fang Fan. My Dark Temple is thirsty for talents. Especially a proud son like you, who never refuses. If little friend Fang Fan is willing to come to my Dark Temple, I can guarantee that you will have a status not inferior to the son of the madman. Mo Tien, the first-class saint of the Dark Temple and the president of the Dark Faction, suddenly stepped forward with a smile, his black robe fluttering under the influence of the hurricane. While talking at this moment, a pair of sexual eyes just stared at Fang Fan, looking particularly excited and surging. For a while, all kinds of words were silent on the spot, and the thoughts were chaotic at the moment. The whole person, directly drifting to the extreme. Explosive start, let alone talk to someone. The stimulus is in place, basically everything is as stable as Mount Tai. Stimulation is real stimulation. Why are you comparing me? Madman, the number one son of the Dark Temple, rolled his eyes and complained angrily. He felt that this was a suppression and insult to him. When will it be his turn to be compared with such a guy? Shut up. If little friend Fang Fan is really willing to come, then little friend Fang Fan will be the first son of God in my Dark Temple. You should be the second son of God. No more nonsense, directly suppress. Motion, the first-class saint of the Dark Temple, stared at him, and the madman gritted his teeth. Although he felt extremely unhappy in his heart, the corners of his mouth twitched, and he had no choice but to bear it. That's about it. Although Mad Demon, the first son of the Dark Temple, is crazy, he still has to be steady when facing the first-class saint of the Dark Temple, Mo Tien. Motion's words shook the surrounding area. This condition is too generous. Exciting. Attractive. Thoughts, instant restlessness. In the depths of the pupils, the endless light flickered across the board. The more I think about it, the more excited I become, and the more I cross the line, the more surging. Such a taste, let alone tell anyone. I just feel so happy. Extremely fun. Take off TBD. I'm going, Niobe, this, the condition of the Devil Saint in the Dark Temple is so cool, isn't it? Fang Fan is the first son of the Dark Temple? After a few years, he will inherit the Dark Temple. The seat of the Lord. Can this demon heaven sage do it? I'm afraid I can't talk about others, but it's okay if it's the saint of the demon sky. It is said that the Pope in the Dark Temple is the elder brother of the saint of the demon sky. I'm CAO. Awesome class, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and agree. Why? Anyway, Fang Fan is being squeezed out everywhere while staying in the light camp, so why not switch schools and take off directly there? Grass. Really cool. Why didn't such a good thing happen to me? What? Listen to what you mean, if it really falls on you, do you still want to deceive your master and destroy your ancestors? Cough. Master, I didn't, I was just talking. But master, you, feel it for yourself, if this good thing really happens to you, can you not be moved? Huh? Master, do you think it's possible? When the time comes to act, you can imagine what you will become. Hey, don't say it's deceiving the master and destroying the ancestors, even if it's a bloody massacre for 30,000 miles, It's not a big problem. You scoundrel. Ask knowingly. The camp of light is really stupid, such a favored son of heaven, just let it go, so stupid. Who says it's not? There is an extremely strong comic effect when you look at it. Interesting, took off. The surrounding voices of emotion gradually increased. Not much else to say, this time the feeling is in place, the more I talk, the more excited I get. There are thousands of thoughts, eyes flickering, and this idea is bursting out. All of this seems to be aimed at the president of the light camp, Wang Tu. Basically, they are complaining about his ignorance of good and bad. Too difficult. My mind is broken. Just play around with all the bells and whistles. Just looking at it gives me a headache. This time, let me tell someone more about my thoughts. Messed up. Messy. Totally messed up. In my heart, the more I think about it, the more anxious I become. Wang Tu's mouth twitched. Although I am very angry in my heart, I still have to keep smiling. Mental breakdown. But hold on tight. All the humming shit. It's all because of Fang Fan. Ever since I met this guy, it seems that I have been suffering from misfortune. Damn it. Now the devil of the Dark Temple still wants to win him over? If this bastard really went to the Temple of Darkness, wouldn't his development prospects be stronger in the future? When he arrives at the Dark Temple and becomes the #1 son of God, in the future, maybe he can really grow to the point where he is afraid. Thinking about this, being stingy becomes increasingly difficult to look at. His thoughts were in a mess, and his eyes flickered to the extreme. The posture of gnashing teeth is fully displayed, and the more I think about it, the more uncomfortable I feel. At the end of the day, one should fully grasp it. Now all the focus is on Fang Fan. Fang Fan only needs to nod his head a little, and the matter will be. Fang Fan is a bastard. You, don't be impulsive. Have your own beliefs. Darkness and light, air. Shui Wanren, deputy head of the Guangming Academy, couldn't continue talking, and then couldn't help but sighed softly. There's a lot of bells and whistles. There is nothing to say about the next thing. The thinking directly follows the comprehensive fixation, which is too difficult. Thoughts raced through his mind, wanting to complain about something, but then fell silent. His eyes flickered, his expression was indifferent, and he was nothing. Is darkness really dark? Is light really light? What is the position between the two? Who can truly understand the relationship between light and darkness? Isn't it clear enough what the current light camp and even the entire Temple of the Light Alliance look like? I have already understood, I am too lazy to think about it, just be completely indifferent. Teacher, you make your own choice. Why? Some people in this light camp are really not a thing. Master's cultivation is just a little bit short, otherwise he will kill those bastards in minutes. Uncle Ji-do muttered, while talking, he couldn't help but glared at Wang Tu, who was standing not far away. The implication is obvious enough. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3702. Wang Tu, the first-class saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance and the president of the Light Camp, staggered and almost fell down. Grass. It's all about labor. There is no one who is not targeted. What a bastard. One counts as one, all of them are not good things. Damn it. If you find an opportunity, you must kill it in an all-round way. Damn it. The more I think about it, the more unhappy I feel. If possible, Wang disciple at this moment would like to kill all these people in front of him. What a mess. One by one, they didn't pay attention to him at all. But after thinking about it, he still stabilized. In public, he must pay attention to the influence. And if he really provoked the anger of the public, he might not be able to withstand it. Now that the Protoss army has retreated, to some extent, this dark camp is the enemy. At that time, if he gets angry and the dark camp starts to make troubles, then he will play with the hammer. Too difficult. Hold on, don't wander. Husband. Concubine Xiang and Chu Sisi each grabbed Fang Fan's arm, hoping that he would be more cautious and not be too loose. If this matter is not handled well, the situation is indeed a bit serious. The sense of thinking and fixation is comprehensive and in place, and you understand everything you understand. I don't understand, and there is nothing I can do. Don't worry, it's okay, a small problem. Fang Fan stretched, with a casual expression on his face. Then Fang Fan took a few steps outside, and the eyes of countless people focused again. Go to the Dark Temple to be the first son of God. A person with all kinds of bad records, you also want. Fang Fan shrugged and joked. He. The great harmony of the world. My Dark Temple is full of rivers and rivers, so how can I taboo these things? Fang Fan, don't worry. Those things that have happened before have been written off. Now it's time to start over. If you are always stuck in the past, how can you start over? No matter what happened to little friend Fang Fan, these are all fine. I can vouch for Fang Fan. Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, suddenly shines. It looks like there's a show. This wave took off. Really took off. The sense of rhythm is also being strengthened in an all-round way. The more I think about it, the more excited I become, and the more I think about it, the clearer my thinking becomes. After much deliberation, I almost follow the established present. Steady. Steady as Mount Tai. In fact, at the beginning, Motion also saw that there seemed to be some inconsistency between Fang Fan and the Guangming camp, so he exported it. If such a proud son of heaven can win over from the light camp, it will be a double blow to the light camp. In Motion's view, it is absolutely impossible for ordinary people to be able to break out of the encirclement of hundreds of thousands of Protoss, and even return with 3 heads of the Protoss. This sun is so terrifying. With a little training, the future may be even brighter than madness. In the future, it may not be impossible to achieve the position of the true God. Thinking of this, the light in the eyes suddenly flickered across the board. The stimulus is in place. This wave, take off. Interesting, more texture. Forward. It seems that the Devil Sky Saint really doesn't know. I once defiled the goddess of your dark camp. Everyone knows that this incident is so troublesome. If I go to the Dark Temple, I'm afraid all the gods in your Dark Temple will explode. Fang Fan shrugged, then said calmly. Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, twitched his mouth, and his forehead was covered with black lines. I see AO. Good guy. In the end, can we still have fun? This thing is very unique, okay. My mentality has completely collapsed. You. Defile the goddess. Goddess Starry Night was defiled by you, kid. That rumored goddess Terminator is you. Mo Tian, the first-rank saint in the Dark Temple, took a deep breath, feeling inexplicably bursting at the moment. Good guy. You've said that, what else can I say? My thoughts are so messed up to the extreme, okay. Besides, you really have to hit the wall directly. Forward. Actually, if you choose to apologize to the goddess, maybe there is still a little chance. As long as you are willing to come to my Dark Temple, I will arrange these. I'll ask His Holiness the Pope to say something nice for you. Perhaps, maybe Her Majesty the Goddess will not care. Mo Tian, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, still didn't want to give up such a good seed like Fang Fan, so he pondered for a while before continuing. His thoughts gradually became chaotic, and his eyes swept across the scene. This wave still needs to be stabilized in an all-round way, and there must be no deviation in the slightest. The heartbeat is up, and the point is broken. This is the most important thing. Formalism is really unacceptable. Fang Fan shrugged, the words were meant to amuse the child. Perhaps Mo Tien, the first-class saint in the Dark Temple, really wanted to win him over, but until now, he was basically fooling around. The Pope himself looks trembling and shivering before the true God. How can he still speak to me? Bells and whistles. At that time, it would be good not to grab me directly. This kind of nonsense really cannot be believed. Anyway, I feel inexplicably gaudy when I listen to it. That's it, the most important thing is to stabilize your mentality. Holy One, do you believe this? I'm doing pretty well in the light camp. Gone. Fang Fan shrugged, turned around, and didn't care about anything. Regardless of whether it is the light camp or the dark camp, in Fang Fan's eyes, in general, it is just a shelter. Light is justice. Darkness is corruption. This thing is really hard to define. How should I put it? There are too many things involved here. There is no such thing as absolute light and darkness. But in Guangming Academy, Fang Fan got used to it. Master Taishiji, I have nothing to say to him. Deputy Palace Master Shui Wanren, still his old father-in-law. So, basically bound. As for the fact that there are some insidious and cunning people on the side of the light camp, that's not a problem, just get rid of them. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, then looked sharply at Wangtu, the first-class saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance standing not far away, and then grinned. Wangtu scratched his face. At this moment, in front of so many people, I can only force some smiles. This wave is a bit difficult. In terms of thought, he was naturally extremely angry. But right now, you have to endure. Wangtu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, trembled his lips, his face was dark, and he couldn't help but stretch out his hand to put on Caog who was beside him. Then silently began to exert force, and began to vent in this way. That's the only way you can feel better in your heart. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3703. His. Caog, the first inspector of the Yuancheng guards of Guangming God City, rolled his eyes crazily. Mentality collapsed. Grass. Why is it always he who gets hurt? I have small arms and legs, why should I treat him like this? Pain to the extreme. At this moment, Caog seemed to have heard the sound of his bones gradually breaking into powder. This heart is completely broken. Damn it! Piss off! Get out of here! I can't wait to rush forward and fight like crazy. As long as there is a way, Caog wants to gnaw away the hand on his shoulder. Too difficult. Bloody heart, crazily bleeding. Caog looked pitifully at Wangtu who was behind him, and his begging eyes could not help but sweep over. Now, he just begs to let himself go. But at this moment, Wangtu, the first-class saint in the light camp, has long been furious to the limit. How could he have the energy to pay attention to what a dog was thinking at this moment? It doesn't matter, it really doesn't matter. Direct and comprehensive suppression. I'm going to call. Caog wept with a mournful face, and then prayed. Too difficult. The mentality is shattered into dregs. In the end, what kind of trouble is going to happen? Can't you control the rhythm a little bit? Is it that hard to let me go? Shut up. I'll kill you if you call. Click. Kaka. Caog's body shook, and then his shoulders tilted, his expression looked very desperate. Shoulder, really broken. It's husky time. That bastard Fang Fan offended you, why did you do this to me? Ah. Do you think this is very humorous? It's fun, isn't it? Damn thing. As long as labor and capital have a way, they will get you done in minutes. Being a dog. There is no dignity. I can't be a dog forever. Even if I'm really a dog now, I want to become a wolf, to become a wolf king. I'm going to scare everyone. Anyone. No one has the right to be arrogant in front of me. I want to make good use of all the resources now. Right. From now on. It starts now. I want to accumulate in an all-round way. Everyone, all those who have offended me will die. When I get to the top, I'll see what expressions you have. Bastards. Wait for me. Thoughts are completely messed up. As if to completely suppress everything in front of him. Many words, condensed in the heart. At this moment, CAOG's self-motivated spirit was activated invisibly. Thinking silently in my heart, my thoughts are gradually churning. No one can stop an aspirant from advancing by leaps and bounds. Roar. CAOG couldn't help but let out a wolf howl. Immediately, a strong aura suddenly exuded from him. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance who was tormenting CAOG, frowned. Could it be possible that this bastard still wants to make a fuss in front of him? How? Looking at it like this, do you want to resist or what? Is it really not good to live? Play. Is that how you play? Damn stuff. Is it really crazy or fake crazy? What kind of trouble do you want to make like this? Thoughts, instant chaos to the limit. Ideas, bursting out in the moment. The more you think about it, the clearer your thoughts become. Wang Tu squinted his eyes, he was already murderous at this moment. What is the use of this kind of dog who dares to devour his master? Just get rid of it like this. For the rest, fear nothing. Just do it. Attitude must be adequate. This wave is basically stable. Steady as Mount Tai. Wrong. It always feels like there's something wrong. This. Why is the spiritual energy around here surging towards you like crazy? What's the situation? You're going to be promoted? Good on. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, was subconsciously shocked. This. Can you still play like this? At this moment, CAOG is an existence in the Supreme Saint realm, and if he is promoted, he will be a demigod. Just such a thing can become a demigod. Grass. When did the demigod stretch his hips like this? Play. Just play. The movements on CAOG's side also attracted the attention of many people. At this moment, I naturally saw Wang Tu holding CAOG's shoulder. Seeing that CAOG's shoulders have basically collapsed, any fool knows that the strength is not light. For a while, there was a lot of discussion. What's the situation? I don't quite understand why, the way the spiritual energy is crazily gathering, something is wrong, really something is wrong. CAO. This is not going to be promoted, is it? Hiss. Promoted to demigod. I wipe. It seems to be really. Look at the thunder cluster in the sky. Demigod tribulation, this is demigod thunder tribulation. Our light camp is going to have one more demigod. It took off and exploded. It's just that the Saint Wang is holding CAOG at the moment. It doesn't look right. It seems that CAOG's shoulders were scratched and crushed. Grass, is it so vicious? This doesn't look like a joke. I'm sorry, it seems that this Wang Saint was physically punishing CAOG just now. Why corporal punishment? Oh. You don't know this, do you? Just now our big brother Fang Fan was shining brightly, this Wang Saint is upset, what else can we do? Hey, our Wang Saint, but there is no kindness, like that, task, you can understand without saying. Grass, so it's like this, I can't help it in my heart, venting on my subordinates. Hey, this CAOG just came here not long ago, and now he is going to be treated like this, it's a bit miserable. I think this Wang disciple saint is a bit psychopathic. In the future, it's better to pay more attention. If you are with this kind of person, you still need to be careful, because if you are not careful, you may be sold by him. That's a good point. It makes sense. In fact, I think so too. It's too messy, too fancy. The surrounding complaints gradually increased. What everyone is most concerned about is not the fact that CAOG is about to cross the demigod thunder calamity, but they are discussing the character of that Wang disciple at a large length. For a while, this Wang disciple was once again on the cusp of the storm, and for a while, basically everyone was in a state of shouting and beating, and he could not wait to directly attack him to the point of bursting. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3704. Naturally, this kind of reputation does not exist, and I can't wait to beat you into scum. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, turned dark. Is it fun to hack me? Holding on to such a small matter, I kept talking about it. You are not bothered, I am so annoying. The point is, it's still the same thing. The more I think about it, the more my brain hurts. The mind is also completely confused. If this goes on, not very good. After all, he is also the president of the Light Camp and the first-class saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance. Not much else to say, this face is still important. After being messed around like this, something will really happen in the end. Thoughts gradually become brighter. Cough. Don't be impatient, everyone. Just now, I also felt that Cardinal Caog's breath was disordered, his aura was rippling, and he had a tendency to be promoted, so I chose to help him and push him to be promoted. Why? I instilled a little spiritual power into him just now, but I didn't expect it to really promote his promotion. It's quite good, it didn't waste all my painstaking efforts. Cardinal Caog's potential is still very good. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, smiled casually, and raised his eyebrows wildly as he spoke. The more you talk, the more excited you are, and the more you talk, the more surging. For a while, the sense of bells and whistles became stronger. What kind of nonsense is this talking about? The corner of Caog's mouth twitched, and he couldn't help laughing out loud. All the parties laughed, and what Wang Tu said almost wasted half of his trust. Caog walked to the flat ground, looked at the demigod Lei Ji in the sky, his expression was particularly excited. Wang Tu, this bastard, treats him like a punching bag for a human sandbag, but unexpectedly, the fighting spirit in his heart is aroused by accidents. This made him usher in the demigod thunder tribulation. In this way, there is a great chance to be directly promoted to the demigod realm. It's taking off. The demigod state and the supreme holy state are not the same. To put it bluntly, this is simply one in the sky and the other in the ground. If you grasp it, you can fully complain. Opportunity is here. Snort. Wang Tu. Still want to suppress me? Snort. When I become a demigod, I'll be able to rise straight to the top. At that time, there may not be no chance to kill you. How dare you do this to me, you should be damned. Damn it. You bastard, you shouldn't live here. I have to kill you so that I can enjoy myself to the end. Call. It seems that God still blesses me, CAOG. God turned me into a crippled person. Made me an eunuch. But my cultivation talent seems to have been strengthened a lot. Could castration be beneficial to practice and study? Maybe it's because my concentration has improved after being castrated. Could it be that in the legend, sexual prosperity causes disasters, and they can be ruled forever? Plus this bastard Wang has been suppressing me. It was the unwillingness and fury in my heart that was compressed to the extreme. And then I'm going to be promoted. Hee. This way is really good. From now on, absolutely no one will do this to me again. Who dares to do this to me, I will abolish him. From then on, CAOG. I am also a demigod. Demigod Thunder Tribulation. I am coming. CAOG put his hand on his chest, feeling the throbbing feeling in his heart, and for a moment, his eyes gathered to the limit. The excitement is superimposed too much, and I don't know how to express it for a while. Rumbling. Boom. The thunder group of the demigod Thunder Tribulation is brewing. This. Grass. What kind of shit luck did this guy have? Can he also become a demigod? What the hell am I? What happened to this world? What chaotic era? Here. Fancy bells and whistles. My mind is broken. There were more yells, and the others could not be said. Suddenly the feeling was in place, and the eyes gradually became erratic. Uncle G looked left and right, but he just couldn't understand what was going on. Can this work? Can you stop talking like this? Too difficult. Mental blood collapsed on the spot. Nothing. Just playing. Forward. This is also his chance. From now on, don't underestimate the CAOG. Normal people are castrated and placed in the vanguard camp, which is basically a dead end. But look at him like that, intact. Hee. This person's heart is not simple. At least there is the ability to endure humiliation. Not to be underestimated. Shui Wanren's eyes flickered as he spoke. There are a lot of thoughts and feelings gradually become chaotic. Think, naturally more. So what if you become a demigod? If I want to teach him a lesson, it's easy. Uncle G held his head high, with a proud face. Tai Shuja's fighting power is indeed a miracle. Under normal circumstances, those weaker quasi-demigods might not necessarily be his opponents. Why? I feel uncomfortable if I don't blow my heart for a day. I mean, be careful in the future. Don't be so rambunctious. This guy, it's not easy. It's easy to hide a sharp spear, but it's hard to defend against a hidden arrow. Shui Wanren shrugged and tried to persuade him. As he spoke, Shui Wanren focused his attention on Fang Fan. At this moment, Shui Wanren's old face turned dark when he saw his daughter Xiangfei happily hanging on Fang Fan's body lovingly and affectionately. This bastard. Really are. Shui Wanren took a deep breath, couldn't help rolling his eyes, all the feelings in his heart twitched. Today's young people are active. The point is, shouldn't you keep a low profile in front of my old father-in-law? The precious daughter I have raised for so many years, you toss and toss, how does my old father-in-law react? Too difficult. Mentality collapsed. Thousands of thoughts, flickering thoughts, nothing, just playing like this. Is the trip okay? No danger at all. Shui Wanren took a deep breath, and then continued. Good. Surprise but no danger. Forward. This time, I also detected some information. The one who came to fight us is actually an army called Tianlin City from the Protoss. According to the Protoss side, this Tianlin City can be regarded as an upper city. As for the upper city like this, there are still several on the Protoss side. As for the second class midtown and downtown, I don't know how many there are. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3705. As Fang Fan spoke, his eyes flickered all over. Thoughts gradually became clear. This news is relatively important. What? Nearly 1 million troops, just an army from the upper city of the Protoss. How many other gods are there in such an upper city? Hiss. We have to gather the strength of the 3 camps to resist this one. Many. How do you fight this? Once the Protoss is fully mobilized, the Yuanqi Divine City will definitely not be able to hold on. At that time, it will really be a dead end. I thought the road ahead had been paved, but I didn't expect it to be such a dead end. Why is this Protoss so powerful? From this point of view, all the previous battles are meaningless. In the end, what we faced was just such a dead end. Heh. It's just a joke. Is our end really here? No matter how you resist, you can't resist. Is this road completely over? Where is the road ahead? I don't see the so-called future at all. All I can see is endless death. Why? Being colder than this, what else can I say? Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, gritted his teeth, and then sighed, with a trace of confusion and helplessness in his eyes. Want to say something, but can't say it? That kind of feeling seems to be very entangled. A lot of thoughts, messy thoughts, that's all. Stabilize your mentality, don't say too much if you don't need it. Seeing this cheap father-in-law's sad look, Fang Fan was at a loss. This has been talking to himself, and Fang Fan can't get in his mouth if he wants to find a chance. This is a bit too mysterious. Deputy Palace Master, it's actually not that far. We're still capable of fighting it. Fang Fan couldn't help but feel relieved. Chance. Where is the opportunity? It's a dead end. Hurry up, let everyone disperse. Yes. That's it. Let everyone pack up their things and leave quickly. This Yuanqi Shencheng can't be taken anymore. The most important thing now is to escape. As long as you can escape, these are all fine. Call. Confrontation is useless, you can only run and barely maintain it. Shui Wanren's eyes lit up, and he immediately agreed. Listen to me. Fang Fan's voice gradually increased. Although the overall power of the Protoss is not bad, they operate independently, and it is basically difficult for each city to live in peace. So it's basically impossible to come together. Their era is all hatred. That is to say, we only need to fight against these Protoss troops in Tianlin City. Compared to our overall power, there is still a good chance. Fang Fan quickly explained the specific situation clearly. In this matter, you can't always be so confused. Otherwise, Fang Fan was really afraid that the Deputy Palace Master would directly become depressed. Will each of the gods fight against each other? This is really good. In this way, we can take the opportunity to do something. Why didn't I think of this? Call. We have tried it before against a Protoss upper city, and we can still grasp it. But where did you get all this information? Is the source reliable? Isn't it just a hearsay among the Protoss? What if they're just fooling around? It can't be verified, right? Fang Fan is a bastard. Shui Wanren's eyes widened, and he kept staring at Fang Fan while speaking, and there was infinite anxiety in his eyes at this moment. The more I talked, the more excited I became, and the more I talked, the more my eyes widened. His nervousness and tremors were palpable. For a moment, my thoughts exploded. Only by staying steady can we control all dissatisfaction. Do not think too much. The source is absolutely true. I learned it from their internal high-level personnel. Don't worry, I didn't choose to force anything, that person told me willingly. There is no need to be too nervous about the source of the news. There won't be any trouble. Fang Fan nodded, and then said seriously. Internal, high-level personnel. When did you get involved with the internal high-level personnel of the Protoss again? Even if you can speak the language of the Protoss, but how can the high-level personnel of the Protoss talk to you? Who is this high-level Protoss? Shui Wanren is an old fox. At this moment, some key points are grasped in an instant. While speaking, his eyes flickered, his expression fluctuated, and the more he spoke, the more emotional he became. For a while, I thought about more. Fang Fan was at a loss for words. It's not easy to say. Cough. Anyway, the news can't be false. It's a high-level member of Tianlin City's Lord's Mansion, and I gained his trust in a special way. Fang Fan nodded, and then explained, by the way, the main reason is to quickly cover up this matter. 1 by 1 is like 100,000 wise, who can resist this? For a while, my brain was about to burst, it was too difficult. There are thousands of thoughts, and the thoughts are directly messed up on the spot. How can this be fun? A special way? The upper echelons of Tianlin City, the upper city of the Protoss, trust you. Why do I sound more and more mysterious? You kid, don't fool me. Just tell the truth and it's over. What is the identity of this high-level Protoss? Why do I feel that you kid was fooled by the Protoss? Or, are you just going to come here to lie to me? Are they all so insidious and cunning now? Shui Wanren looked at Fang Fan, and then began to think infinitely. Anyway, now it is an attitude of wanting to break the casserole and ask the end. Fang Fan became numb again. A wave of bells and whistles. Don't you find it troublesome to mess around? Fang Fan looked up at the sky, he was tired. I can prove this to Fang Fan. There really is such a person. Kid Fang Fan did use a special method to conquer a high-ranking figure in Tianlin City of the Protoss. Bai Biao raised his hand suddenly, and while talking, he nodded and bowed excitedly, his eyes were filled with infinite energy, and his thoughts swelled to the limit for a moment. It's taking off. It's fried. So exciting. As long as it's about Fang Fan, Bai Biao always wants to intervene. I don't know how this guy's brain grows, anyway, he always thinks about Yin Fangfan all the time. Fang Fan was quite happy to hear someone prove it to him, but after further confirming that it was Bai Biao, Fang Fan's expression became numb. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3706. This guy is simply a shit-stirring stick. There must be no good things where he is. Can you prove it? Yes, you went with Fang Fan at that time. Then Bai Biao, tell me, what is the identity of this high-level Protoss? What is his position? What is his cultivation? Also, how did Fang Fan conquer this high-level Protoss? Speak well. I need to know more specific information, so that I can make a comprehensive prediction. The main reason is that I'm afraid that if the high-level Protoss is deliberately saying these routines, you. Shui Wanren looked at Bai Biao, and now he directly regarded Bai Biao as a sweet potato. While talking, he nodded quickly, and the smile on his face was very real. There are thousands of thoughts, and I can tell who I feel like this. More specific information. For it. There are still some. It's just this thing, can you say it? Boy Fang Fan. Hey. I don't have much money recently. Why? It would be great if there were 1,800,000,000 Godstone fragments. Why? Bai Biao sighed, then raised his eyebrows, and started doing all these things in a flashy manner. While speaking, his eyes flickered, his thoughts rose, and his posture surged to the limit. The more you talk, the more sparkle in your eyes. For a moment, thoughts surged in full swing. All kinds of ideas are fully in place. A real batch of. Fang Fan was speechless. Isn't this guy trying to blackmail him? This guy has everything in place now. That's what I said with a straight mind. In the future, the share ratio can be reduced to 1%. Fang Fan was expressionless, thinking to himself. It's the wife of the city lord of Tianlin city of the Protoss. Snort. As for how to conquer, I don't need to say more. What is the strongest ability of this guy, you all understand. Chu Sisi on the side couldn't bear it anymore, and immediately began to break the news in full. This revelation seems to be very fast. For a while, all he said were some stimulating words. Thoughts gathered, and the eyes flashed. It took off directly. Stimulation, to the top. The rest, needless to say. Full bombing. The mayor's wife. Cough. Disciple. Your sacrifice is too great, right? How old is the wife of the city lord? You endured humiliation and suffered a lot in order to obtain information. That, the lady of the city lord didn't torture you with some weird things like steel wool. Grand Uncle G opened his mouth, and then he couldn't help sighing. While speaking, his eyes kept peeking around Fang Fan, and from time to time, he glanced at Fang Fan's lower body. Although Tai Shuja didn't say anything in detail, he basically understood what it meant. Fang Fan. This time around, he didn't really want to continue talking. This rhythm can also be slowed down a little bit. The speed is too fast to keep up. Why did those weird plots start happening at every turn? A story of love and entanglement between a rich woman and a boy? To be precise, it is the 17th madam of the city lord's mansion. Fang Fan pondered for a while, and then temporarily added some keywords. Oh. It turned out to be like this. The little wife of the Protoss city lord? A concubine. That's okay, the average concubine is graceful and graceful, as beautiful as a fairy. Hey, it's not too bad. Everything is for the mission. I just said that my apprentice is so strong. Tai Shuja's eyes lit up, and as he spoke, the smiles on the corners of his mouth grew more and more. This wave is basically stable. You still encourage. The upper beam is not straight, the lower beam is crooked. Do you often do this kind of thing, so your apprentice learned it? Stealing information in this way. This. You old bastard is not serious. Wu Meiling, deputy head of the Guangming Academy, clenched her silver teeth, and then couldn't help stretching out her hand to pinch Tai Shiji back and forth. While speaking, Wu Meiling rolled her eyes frantically, obviously dissatisfied with her grand Uncle G. Uncle G has rough skin and thick flesh, and looks indifferent. It's a big deal, that's it, it's better than anything else to calm down. You woman, what do you know? Women have long hair but short knowledge. In order to get first-hand information about the Protoss, my apprentice chose to go deep into the enemy camp, bear the burden of humiliation, and then steal key information from the opponent's hands. This is righteousness. As for those subsections, sometimes you can let it go properly. This kind of thing is right, there is no specific agreement standard or something. Cough, you understand everything. Why? For the great cause, my apprentice has sacrificed too much. This is also a great achievement. It stands to reason that the Hall of Merit should also contribute points to the calculation of military achievements. This can be regarded as the first-hand key information for the Protoss, at least I have a new understanding of the face of the Protoss camp. Uncle G held his head high and his chest high, his eyes flickered with brilliance as he spoke. That being said, it still makes sense. Shui Wanren, deputy head of the Guangming Academy, stood there at the moment, with a helpless expression on his face. Is this his son-in-law? He often hangs out with other women outside. The point is, it's fine for fooling around, but what's the matter with his old father-in-law who seems to be happy? Now it seems that I can't even make a complaint. This is for the sake of the overall situation. Righteousness is directly on the body, it is too real. Shui Wanren wriggled his lips. Now he just wanted to turn around and leave. He didn't want to stay here any longer, it was too uncomfortable. Vice Palace Master Shui. Speak up. Evaluate my apprentice's behavior. How did you become the first deputy palace master? Don't care about anything. This student has made such a great achievement, and he didn't show it at all. That's it? Grand Uncle Ji began to complain for Fang Fan. The corner of Shui Wanren's mouth twitched secretly. You are right, everything you say makes sense. Why do I want to kill you so much now? What do you want me to say? As the deputy palace master, indeed, this kind of thing should be rewarded. But as an old father-in-law, Shui Wanren felt like his head was about to smoke. Can you bear this matter? The key is, how to bear it? This mentality has already reached its limit. Thousands of thoughts sinking. Good. Very good. Strive to make new achievements in the future. Cough. But also pay attention to the method. Especially in this kind of thing, you must control the rhythm. Shui Wanren forced a smile, seeing his daughter having fun in the arms of such a dog man. Shui Wanren's face was heartbroken. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3707. The old father-in-law has this virtue. It's all his own business to let himself go wild. Even if there are countless lovers and beautiful women outside, that's not a big problem, and she always wants to excuse herself. But if your son-in-law engages in such fancy things, then he absolutely can't do it. Every minute there is an urge to break your dog's legs. Men, that's probably the case, they are always flying under the dual standard route. Pay attention to proportion. What measure? Deputy Palace Master Shui Wanren. Why are you living back more and more? If my apprentice pays attention to propriety, can I get this important information? Tell me, is that the truth? As an elder, what you want is the effect of enlightenment, not to give advice all day long, and to talk nonsense. Tai Shiji waved his hand, and immediately began to make complaints about it. Besides, don't you know what you were like when you were young? Then when you see a beauty, you won't be able to walk. The romantic affairs accumulated over the years are more than one or two. Good guy, let's not talk about this. Are you doing this here? Uncle Ji began to reveal the bottom line. What he said was justified. Shui Wanren's face was dark and numb. You can say whatever you want, but I didn't react at all. I think you can use a hammer. Just play around with all the fuss. Too painful. For a moment, his thoughts were completely messed up. If it is true as what Fang Fan said, the Protoss is composed of many cities, and each city operates independently, then we still have to be vigilant. This kind of thing, don't be careless. If you are a little careless, you will be indifferent to the moment. What if the Protoss is united when? We're all walking on tightrope now. You have to stay calm. When dealing with the Protoss, you must not relax for a moment. After all, if there is any accident, the situation will be broken. That's what needs the most vigilance. This is fully under control. Rhythm, hold on. Shui Wanren started to change the topic, and said a lot of things, which sounded very important, but carefully tasted, everyone seemed to understand. It sounds like a long speech, but if you think about it carefully, it feels like you haven't said anything. This feeling, this taste, is very unique. For a while, thoughts fluttered, and I didn't know what to express. Okay. Now the Protoss is basically stable. At the moment, it can be regarded as a big victory, so we should celebrate. Hey, while the Protoss are evacuating in a panic, it would be great if we could work together and go out to kill one. It feels so uncomfortable to be curled up in the city all the time. We can only wait for others to come and attack you. Oh shit. What is this all about? It's so frustrating. Bastard thing. Taishaji walked up and down, speaking with some anger in his words. There are thousands of thoughts, eyes flickering, and expressions suddenly change to the extreme. Although the poor are not to pursue, everyone knows that it is a long-term battle against the gods of war. If you can take advantage of this opportunity to kill some more God clan soldiers, it will also weaken their strength. Of course it's a great thing. It's just that we think so, but there's no guarantee that other people think the same way. After all, everyone still has some wonderful thoughts hidden in their hearts. Why? These things are unclear. Sometimes, it's amazing. It's too much to say, it doesn't make much sense. Let's not talk about bringing together the forces of the light camp, the dark camp, and the neutral camp. I'm afraid that even our light camp alone may not be able to achieve a comprehensive unity of will in a short period of time. Hee. If that's the case, it doesn't make any sense. Relying on the strength of our Guangming Academy, I was eaten as soon as I went out. Shui Wanren smiled wryly. The overall pattern is like this, and he can't do anything about it. Sometimes, you can only bear it numbly. There are so many thoughts, the more I think about it, the more my brain hurts. Wrong. Before, that huge and magnificent cannonball came from you. Speaking of it this way, apprentice, if the giant cannon is mounted on the city wall, will it be possible to carry out long-range and precise strikes? Taishaji's eyes lit up, and he said excitedly. This. Sure. According to the current range, absolutely no problem. In front of Taishaji, Fang Fan always had something to say, and there was no need to hide it. What are you waiting for? Fire! Fire! Ha ha ha! I can't wait. I want to see with my own eyes how the huge shell was blasted out. My God, when the shell fell from the sky, the surrounding area was instantly dead silent for 1,000 meters. As soon as the gun goes down, the soldiers of the 10,000 gods will be gone. That is indeed infinite power. Uncle G took a deep breath, and couldn't help but widen his eyes as he spoke. The excitement gradually came into place. There are thousands of thoughts, and I can tell who I feel like this. Etc. Don't worry. Wood show in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. Fang Fan, although most people now feel that you controlled the bombing of this giant cannon, after all, there is no actual certification. So they're just guessing and guessing. But now if you set up the giant cannon, it is equivalent to showing it to everyone directly. You also know the power of this cannon. Who doesn't want such a giant cannon? Every man is innocent, but he is guilty. At that time, I'm afraid more people will be watching. Why? Fang Fan, have you considered this? This situation is not as simple as you think. Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, couldn't help but patted Fang Fan on the shoulder, and then said earnestly. All in all, I just want to persuade Fang Fan to keep a low profile. Being targeted by too many people is not a good thing. At that time, it might be completely silent in an instant. In terms of situation, it is even more necessary to grasp a lot of rhythm. Fang Fan pondered silently, his thoughts gradually becoming confused. Thinking, gradually increased. The God-destroying artillery corps is his trump card. In fact, there is no operation of the destroyer cannon. The so-called destroyer cannon is just a bunch of parts. God destroyer artillery and God destroyer cannon can only exert their power together. As for other people's coveting, Fang Fan really didn't think too much about it. If anyone covets it, just wipe it out completely. Why do you care if there is something or not? Does it make sense? Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3708. If you keep worrying about other people, wouldn't you worry yourself to death? Fine. After all, you won't come here in a fair manner. It doesn't matter what you do in secret. If you really come here in an open and honest manner, naturally, there are ways to deal with it. Since everyone knows that this giant cannon is mine, even if you keep hiding it, it doesn't make any sense. It's better to completely suppress all the energy, it doesn't matter. This wave is basically stable, that's it. Fang Fan stretched, with a casual expression on his face. Hey. This is my apprentice. What's there to be afraid of? The teacher is here. Humph. If those people know how to flatter, it's fine, but if they don't, they will be hammered to death in minutes. Go up and do it. Tai Shiji waved his hand, his combat power surged. Stop talking big. Just here, which one can you hammer to death? Wu Meiling, deputy head of Guangming Academy, rolled her eyes and said in a bad mood. A wave of bells and whistles. Just do it. Can the sense of rhythm be slowed down a little bit? In the distance, that CAOG was still going through the demigod thunder calamity. Fang Fan ordered people to set up the fort. The situation has almost stabilized. The established moment is as stable as Mount Tai. Thoughts abound, eyes flicker. Just play like that. This wave appears to be extremely clear. The eyes of each of them flickered brightly, thinking about it, and feeling deeply. My lord, you are ready, you can start shelling at any time. Bales, the commander of the God Destroyer Artillery Corps, gave an order, and then a dozen God Destroyer artillery soldiers fully assembled the parts of the God Destroyer artillery in their hands. For a time, the momentum was magnificent. There was a sense of extreme oppression in the surrounding area. The sound of breathing gradually became a lot faster. Immediately, another war is about to begin. How exciting! This wave, take off. The situation is settled. This. How can such a large caliber cannon be assembled like this? When the bombing is carried out later, won't it collapse on its own? There will be problems at that time. Oh my god. Fang Fan is a bastard. Shui Wanren took a deep breath, and when he spoke, his lips were frantically murmured, his thoughts were full of thoughts, his eyes flickered, and his thoughts rushed to the extreme. For it. No problem. Don't worry, Deputy Palace Master, I have already practiced it before. There are many barbs on it, and when it is assembled, there are no gaps. In this state, it's almost there. Hold on, don't wander off. Fang Fan shrugged, then said calmly. While speaking, his eyebrows were raised, and his expression changed so real. Shui Wanren opened his mouth, still a little worried at the moment. But seeing Fang Fan so confident, it was hard to say anything further. Maybe it really is like this? This thing, who can tell? Everyone surrounded the giant cannon, waiting for the moment of bombardment. Let's start. Fang Fan looked at Bayless, then shrugged. Obey my lord. Emission. Bales immediately gave the order, and then a dozen god-killing artillerymen began to move in full swing. Pull the switch. Boom. The 2000 mm caliber destroying god cannon quickly tossed in the air, and then fell directly into the densely populated place of the Protoss army. In an instant, it was like a celestial girl scattering flowers, directly scattered. For a while, watching it became more and more frightening and disturbing. The more you look, the more trembling you get. The more you look, the more your eyes shrink. Thoughts are gradually ending, and many words have become unclear. All I can do is stare blankly at it. Thoughts become numb in an instant. The whole person is also cold and thin. With such a state of mind, how can I tell anyone? Quiet. It's over. Cool. That's all. As for the other end, the God Clan soldiers naturally also saw the roaring God extinguishing cannon, but at the moment they could only grit their teeth and watch like this. Their lips murmured wildly, but they didn't know how to express their thoughts. Thoughts were churning, eyes suddenly curled up. The whole person was immediately numb. Boom. The shells fell, and a huge crater appeared. A radius of thousands of meters was instantly destroyed. Thousands of soldiers of the Protoss are directly indifferent to this. Where to shoot? Why did you shoot again? Damn it! Isn't there a truce? That's right, these foreigners don't talk about martial arts. Brothers. I can't bear it. Let's fight back. I'm so unwilling. You son of a bitch, your mentality has collapsed. Idiot. Go straight forward. Just do it. You bastard, shit, I vomited, really vomited. Do you play like this? Get lost. I want to beat you to death. I can't swallow this breath. Fight. 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 Still beating? How did you get beaten up just now? Don't you have any clues in your heart? Guises, it shattered like that in an instant, and you are still tossing and tossing. Huh? Can't think too much. What time is this? Why are you still here? Get lost. I just want to rush. The surrounding shouts gradually increased, and for a while, there was a strong sense of tearing. It makes people tremble in the depths of their souls. The more you think about it, the more confused your thoughts become. Gushat, the first-class God General of the Protoss, walked towards the bombed place silently, with a gloomy face and murderous looks in his eyes. Too much deceit. Lord Gussa. We can't retreat. Rush up. Kill them. I tried it just now. Although their giant cannons are powerful, the people who control them are not that strong. Basically, they are ordinary saints. Damn it. Just now, when I was chasing after just now, if there is one more demigod coming to help, it won't be like this now. Almost put them all in one pot. I don't accept it. I don't accept it. It shouldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. The roars gradually increased, and for a while, there was a strong sense of oppression, as if everything in front of me could be completely smashed in an instant. His thoughts became more and more confused, and his eyes gradually became extremely blood red. The more you think about it, the deeper you feel. The killing breath is in place. The eyes of Talha, the third-rank God General of the Protoss race, were blood red, and now he and Fang Fan are in a fight. There is only killing in my heart. Kill. Kill. This bastard must be cut into pieces. Nightmare. This is his nightmare. If he doesn't achieve this goal, he will collapse. If he just went back like this, he would be suffocated to death. I feel like my life has no meaning anymore. It feels like everything in front of me has become extremely empty. Can't get motivated to do anything. Master Gussa. Master Gussa. Satisfy me, okay. Rush, kill. This is a naked provocation. Can this be tolerated? Is it tolerable or unbearable? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3709. The mental state of the third-class god General Talha of the Protoss is a bit crazy. The more I talked, the more excited I became, the more I talked, the more confused my thoughts became, and then I started screaming crazily. An attitude of not giving up until the goal is reached. The only one who greeted him was the extremely loathing eyes of Gushat, the first-class god general of the Protoss race. You still have the nerve to challenge me in front of you. How many times have I given you a chance? For the first time, the army of 50,000 became 5,000. The second time, such a good opportunity, success is close at hand, and you just watched them slip away from under your nose. Trash snack. It was so close at the time, why didn't you blow yourself up? If you blew yourself up, wouldn't they die? How could there be such an accident? That's right, isn't that the truth? Continue to yell at me. Ah! Bastard thing. The roar became more and more frenzied, as if it wanted to silence everything in front of it on the spot. For a while, it gradually became insane. Gushat, the first-class god general of the Protoss, is also very worried at the moment. Does he not want revenge? Doesn't he want to launch a full-scale counteroffensive? He thinks more than anyone. But so what? In the end, can't you just watch everything collapse? The more I think about it, the messy it gets. The more I think about it, the more indignant I become. A heart, completely broken. At the moment of silence, the cool moonlight. The city lord is also urging him to go back. The recall of the gold medal has been issued several times. He brought out most of the Tianlin city's army, but if there was any change, it would be completely desolate. At this moment, there is no other choice. I can only silently watch everything in front of me. Thoughts gradually became chaotic. His eyes gradually became numb. The whole person, set on the spot, is nothing. Also, if the city in front of you is so easy to take, why wait until now? As for Talha's call, to Gushat, it was no different from farting. Stupid lack of things, give some sunshine and it will be brilliant. Master Gushat, I snapped. Boom. Talha wanted to say something more, but Gushat kicked him away. And a madman, what's there to say? It's all rubbish talk. Enough. Enough is enough. This time, that's it. There is nothing more to say. His thoughts were extremely messy, and his expression was completely indifferent. Withdraw. Speed, go faster. Evacuate at full speed. Throw away all the useless things. Take troop withdrawal as the top priority. Gushat, the first-class god general of the Protoss, made up his mind. Now, he can only make a complete breakup. As for the others, who cares? Who cares? That's it, it's almost there, it's stable, it's enough. Sprint in place. The speed is extremely fast. This time the failure will be transformed into endless hatred. When the time is right, all these hatreds will erupt in an all-round way. In the end, everyone will come back with revenge. On the tower of the Yuanshi God City, the loud noise caused by the deity extinguishing cannon still attracted the attention of many people. At this moment, everyone looked at this giant cannon and couldn't help but marvel again and again. Look! It's that giant cannon. My CAO! I saw my real body. Before those shells fell on our city wall, the scene of blowing up those god soldiers is vivid in my memory. Hiss, at that time, I was thinking, how could it be so strong, but I didn't expect it, it really came true in front of my eyes. Gudong. It took off, this time it really took off. It's so exciting, it exploded. It turns out that this giant cannon was really made by Mr. Fang Fan. Brat. Hey, this time we were able to repel the Protoss army, thanks to Fang Fan. Boss Fang Fan is invincible. 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 Some people praise it, and naturally some people talk nonsense. Damn it. Originally, those Protoss troops had already run away, but now it's alright, a wave of bombing, isn't it going to arouse their hatred? Then they can't attack us. Hey, do you want to fight again? You can't fight. You son of a bitch, I'm throwing up, do you have to be so provocative? Will you be happy like this? Will you be comfortable? What's your idea? Hee hee. It's purely for the sake of pretending to be aggressive. I really don't know what's going on in my head. The point is, it doesn't make any sense. Hey, it's useless, it's so cool, just explode. The time to finish the calf has come. There were more chugging and chugging sounds from around, and the voices of emotion were endless, and the bloody aura in the eyes also increased, and they all began to accuse. Wang Tu, the presidential marshal of the Light Camp and the first-class saint of the Temple of the Light Alliance, was also taken aback for a while. It's all over, why do you have to come here all at once? What about dying? And, without his own instructions, who would dare to fire randomly? Hateful. Did you still pay attention to him, the president of the Light Camp? Ah. Are all of them so rampant? Who told you to fire the cannon? Without my warrant, how dare you? What should I do if I provoke the Protoss army back? With a cold face, Wang Tu came over aggressively to Xingshi to question him. He felt that he should show some presidential prestige. What happened to my order? Don't dare to go out of the city to pursue, can't we carry out long-range strikes? How? Are you all scared like this by these Protoss soldiers? They can come and attack us, why can't we fight back? Are we really cowardly? The roar gradually increased. Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, held his head high and held his chest high, not wanting to let it go. I am the president. Whoever dares to mess around without my order will be killed without mercy. Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Alliance of Light, squinted his eyes, and then became murderous. We are from Guangming Academy. The Institute of Light has always been independent from the Temple of the Light Alliance. Normal military operations, we naturally have to cooperate. But we also have absolute autonomy. Snort. How about going to His Majesty the Pope and explaining clearly? The knife of my light camp, if it doesn't cut at the enemy, should it cut at itself? How can there be such a reason? The cunning rabbit is dead, and the lackey is cooking. The hero, should he be killed? Where is the axiom? Me. Shui Wanren. Not convinced. Me. Shui Wanren. Fight to the end. Shui Wanren, the deputy head of the Guangming Academy, roared, and for a while, the surrounding movement became much louder. The whole audience began to throb. For a while, restlessness. Countless people looked at all this with wide-eyed eyes, and their blood was immediately aroused. Me. Zia Xiaotian. I have to fight to the end. Me. Shueqian Zhou fights to the end. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3710. For a moment, the surrounding vibrations intensified. Everyone has a passionate heart. Everyone's attitude and posture are clear at a glance. This wave, sweeping across the board in place, and the sense of tremor gradually became more appropriate. For a time, the crowd surged. The face of Wang Tu, the first-class saint in the Temple of the Light Alliance, turned black. Mob. Trouble. A bunch of bastards. The more you look at it, the more angry you become, and the more you look at it, the more bored you become. For a while, your expression changes unpredictable. Damn thing. It's all dog stuff. But what people want, he can't do anything about it. The authority of the president of the light camp is actually far less than imagined. For a while, there was silence again. Wang Tu stretched out his hand and scratched around, trying to find a target to vent his anger on, but found that Caog who had been following him was no longer by his side. That Caog is going through the demigod thunder calamity at the moment. There was no place to vent, and he became more and more tyrannical. Hateful. Damn. Batuza. It's all dog stuff. Thoughts, chaos to the extreme. Eyes, extremely indifferent. At the moment of death, everything is predetermined. Suddenly, Wang Tu's eyes lit up. Suddenly, he thought of something wonderful. Cough. Good. Very good. Ha ha ha. Reward for meritorious deeds. Punishment for mistakes. Although it's wrong for you to shoot recklessly, but how can you put it, you are also wholeheartedly fighting against the Protoss, and there is nothing wrong with it. And your actions have indeed caused heavy losses to the Protoss, and the final result is good. This kind of behavior should be fully rewarded. I will definitely report to His Majesty the Pope to fully record your great achievements. Wang Tu instantly turned into a smiling tiger. The more I talked, the more excited I became, and the more I talked, the more I felt like a dog. This. Can you stop for a little while? This sounds really not right. Is this guy with a dog face? Has this changed? Why do I feel that this guy is not a good thing? I don't know what I'm muttering in my heart. I'll hum it. There is a problem, there is definitely a problem. This guy wants us all to die. I must be planning something. Taishaji frowned, and raised his eyebrows as he spoke. Now, he has almost figured out many routines of this great Uncle G. To put it bluntly, this is not a good thing. Among them, there is a mystery, a big mystery. I also feel that something is not right here. But it's hard to say what's wrong. Why? Let's see the trick and break the trick. This guy doesn't have the guts to wipe out our Guangming Academy. Humph. If he dares to do this, the Palace Master will definitely not let him go. Shui Wanren squinted his eyes and snorted coldly, his expression became extremely ugly. Besides, he's not the only one who has the final say here. Sage Chang Sun Yuan and Saint Hong Chen are also deputy commanders. It's impossible to cover the sky with one hand. Shui Wanren said confidently. Master. In our Guangming Academy, do we still have the Palace Masters? Fang Fan shrugged. This so-called Palace Master only hears his name but does not see his person. Of course there is. Otherwise, what is our Guangming Academy doing? It depends on me to support such a big stall. Why? If there is no Lord Palace Master, our Guangming Academy will really become a fish on the chopping board and be slaughtered by others. But fortunately, with the presence of the Palace Master, even the Pope would not dare to mess around. Borrow them a few guts, but they don't have the guts. My lord, that is a legend. When Shui Wanren, deputy head of the Guangming Academy, spoke, the brilliance in his eyes flickered all over. There are thousands of thoughts, and suddenly, feelings are also swept across. Gradually, the whole person became smug. During the joke, the mast and skull were wiped out. So, where is the Palace Master? Fang Fan only pays attention to this. It has been said that this is useless. The key is to find people out to be real. Forehead. Cough. This. It's hard to say, it's really hard to say. Why? The Dean has always been elusive, who knows where he wandered off. I haven't seen him for tens of thousands of years. Shui Wanren sighed, then sighed silently. Too difficult. Thoughts are momentarily disordered. Tens of thousands of years, haven't seen it? A palace master who lives in memory. This. Why does it feel like such a fool? Fang Fan opened his mouth, and the corners of his mouth subconsciously twitched. As he spoke, his eyes flickered, his expression twitched, and his eyes turned cold. Nothing. Just for fun? Come and go, that's it? That's it? Rhythm, can't you stretch it a little bit? In other words, the legendary palace master can only exist in legends. After all, there is nothing to pay attention to. Don't be disrespectful to the palace master. You kid, you are really good now. You must not be slack in the slightest towards the palace master. Shui Wanren looked serious, his eyes gradually brightened. Apparently, the legendary palace master of Guangming Academy holds a very high status in his mind. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible to be in this posture. Okay. It's useless to say that. Go back and rest. Now the Protoss army has almost withdrawn. Why? It's been a stalemate here for several days, and I'm tired. Take a good rest. I don't know if the Protoss army is gone forever, or it will come back in 2 days. We have to prepare for this. If you are not careful, you have to continue to fight. Nothing interesting. War every day. Bai Piao at the side, and then couldn't help complaining. The words are rough and the rationale is not rough. We really need to focus on what Bai Piao said. I don't know what the next arrangement is. I'm afraid this Yuanxi God City will have to deploy troops all year round. If we want to borrow these resources from the territory of the gods and cultivate here quickly, we can only fight these gods to the end. In this territory of the gods, maybe you can find a way to become a god. Call. You know, as long as you step into the realm of false gods, you are eligible to enjoy the worship of believers. At that time, there will be a chance to take off and enter the realm of God. How many people are staring at the level of the pseudo-god realm? Especially those supreme beings who are at the top of the demigod realm. For them at this moment, the greatest meaning of life is to step through the void and be promoted to false gods. False god, that's a whole new level. False gods, you can enter the realm of the gods.